Hello everyone, welcome back. Once again I am here with the vectors. So today what we are going to deal here mainly about the average acceleration or acceleration in terms of rectangular components. So let's discuss about in detail about the rectangular components of vectors here. Okay. So first of all we will be discussing about the average acceleration. So what is meant by average acceleration you have already learned, correct? So average acceleration we can write here a bar. Average acceleration is the change in velocity divided by change in time, right? So we can write here change in velocity, say it as v dash minus v divided by t minus 0. That is change in time. So 0 means initial time and t means what? The final time. So here we can write this equation as delta v divided by delta t. Okay, the average acceleration we can write here delta v divided by delta t. Here delta v means it is a vector quantity, so we can write here delta v vector divided by delta t. So in the last lesson we have already discussed about the velocity vector is equal to vxi cap plus vyj cap. That is the rectangular components in a plane. So we can write this equation for average acceleration is equal to delta. Here what is v? V here written the vxi plus vyj j cap all divided by delta t, correct? So we can write this equation as average acceleration a bar is equal to delta vx divided by delta t into I cap plus delta vy divided by delta t into j cap. Now what is meant by delta vx by delta t? That is change in velocity along x-axis divided by time. That is the acceleration, right? So we can write this equation as the average acceleration is equal to axi cap plus ayj cap. In order to represent this is the average acceleration, we can write here ax bar same way ay bar. So this is the relation to calculate what? The average acceleration, and we have resolved into two components, x component and y component, and we have resolved in a plane. So as we already written here, acceleration, average acceleration is equal to change in velocity by change in time, right? So delta v vector divided by delta t. So here what is the direction of average acceleration? The direction of average acceleration is same as the direction of change in velocity. Once again, the direction of average acceleration is same as the direction of change in velocity. So this is regarding about average acceleration. This is nothing new here. We have just discussed here about the rectangular components or in terms of orthogonal vectors. Okay, now let's discuss about in detail about the instantaneous acceleration. So first of all, what is meant by instantaneous acceleration? Instantaneous acceleration is the limiting value of average acceleration. What is that? Limiting value of average acceleration when time interval approaches to 0. That is called what? Instantaneous acceleration. So the instantaneous acceleration can be written as a vector is equal to limit delta t tends to 0. Limit delta t tends to 0. Delta v vector divided by delta t. So what is the instantaneous acceleration formula? A vector is equal to, it is a limiting value of average acceleration when the time interval tends to 0. So this equation can be written as dv vector divided by dt. That is the first derivative of what? Velocity. First derivative of velocity. So this is a way to represent what? Instantaneous acceleration. Now, in order to explain the direction of the instantaneous acceleration as well as the direction of acceleration, let's discuss few diagrams in this case here. Okay. Now let's see the first picture here. Okay. You can see in the first picture in the xy plane, an object is in motion. An object is in motion. The blue color here shows the object which is in motion. Okay, it is not a straight line motion. This is in a plane we are discussing about. Now, at a time t, what is the position of the object is marked here in the diagram, that is the P. Now what we are considering here, after some time interval, say it as delta t1, okay, say it as delta t1, now the object is reached at the P1. Now in order to identify or in order to understand the direction of velocity at that point, at the point P as well as P1, what we have drawn here, a tangent is drawn at the point P and a tangent is drawn at the point P1. So we got now the velocity at P as v vector and velocity at P1 as v dash vector. Now at 2 point, the time interval between the P and P1 is what? Delta t1. In that case, what is the acceleration? As you already know, acceleration is equal to what? dv by dt, change in velocity divided by change in time, right? So the time interval change is delta t1. Now what is the change in velocity? Now in order to find the change in velocity, what we have done here, by taking the velocity vector, just to take the velocity vector from the picture and draw in another picture. So v dash we have taken and v also taken in such a way that their tails are in contact. Their tails are in contact. Now you can see when the tails are in contact, what is the direction of change in velocity? You can see the delta v acting in this direction. Clear? So if you use the triangle law of vector addition, you will be getting the equation as v plus, that is v vector plus delta v vector is equal to v dash vector. Correct? So what is equation for change in velocity? Delta v vector is equal to v dash vector minus v vector. That means change in velocity is the final velocity minus initial velocity. So here what we are proving here, the direction of acceleration is the same as the direction of what? Change in velocity. Now look at the second picture here. In the second picture, again at a time t the position is point P, and after some time interval we are now reducing the time interval into delta t2. Okay, delta t2 is less than the delta t1. We are now reducing the time interval. Now when you reduce the time interval, you can see the diagram in this case. Once again we have drawn the tangent at the point P as well as P2. Okay, and we got the direction of velocity as v and v dash. By using the two velocity vector, we have used the triangle of vector addition and made the direction of change in velocity, as here you can see delta v is acting in this direction. Now look at the third picture here. In the third picture, what we are taking the time interval, it is the delta t3. So once again what we are doing here, the time interval we are now reducing. So delta t1 is greater than, delta 2 is greater than delta t3. So now it is delta t3 is very less. Again we have constructed 2 points there, one is the P and other one is the P3. And that positions we have drawn the tangent and we got the velocity as v vector as well as the v dash vector. Again by using that v vector and v dash vector, we have constructed the triangle of vector addition, and here once again we got what? The change in velocity direction. So in the three pictures, what we have concluded here, that the direction of average acceleration is same as the direction of change in velocity vector. Is that clear? Now what we are doing here, we are reducing the time interval in such a way that we are taking delta t tends to 0. That means the time interval is too small. Time interval is very small, and that time how we can find the direction of average acceleration. So let's see, to explain that one, let's see the last picture you can see here. In the last picture, the time interval is reducing and it tends to 0. So we are getting at one particular point, that is the point is shown here, the point P. At the point P, what is the direction of velocity? Once again we are drawing a tangent and we got the velocity here. So only you can see here only one velocity vector, because what? The change in velocity is too small here. Change in velocity is too small. Now you can see here, at that point the acceleration is called what? Instantaneous acceleration. That means acceleration of a body at that particular point of consideration is called what? Instantaneous acceleration. Now you can see in the picture, the average acceleration is now changed into what? instantaneous acceleration. Now you can see here the direction of instantaneous acceleration. See the picture in here, that is the instantaneous acceleration direction. So what is actually happened here, when delta t tends to 0, the average acceleration become now what? Instantaneous acceleration. That's what we were discussing in these 4 pictures. Okay, so let me conclude here. What we have discussed in all these pictures here, when the time interval is now reducing in such a way that the delta t tends to 0, in that case we can consider that the average acceleration term become now what? Instantaneous accelerations. That means the acceleration at one particular time interval, or it is what is the definition we have discussed here? Instantaneous acceleration is the limiting value of change in velocity with respect to time when the time is equal to what? Tends to 0. So the instantaneous acceleration we can write like this: a vector is equal to d by dt of v vector, or we have written here limiting value delta t tends to 0. Now what is delta v? Delta v means what? Delta of vxi plus vyj cap, correct, divided by delta t. That is, we can write here a vector is equal to limit delta t tends to 0 delta vxi cap divided by delta t, right, plus limit delta t tends to 0 delta vyj cap divided by delta t, correct. This equation can be written as a vector is equal to dvxi divided by dt plus dvy divided by dt into j cap. As you already know, what is a change in velocity by time? That is acceleration. So the instantaneous acceleration a vector is equal to axi cap plus ayj cap. So this is the way to write what? The acceleration in terms of rectangular components. So this is, we are talking about what? Instantaneous acceleration. What is the instantaneous acceleration? When delta t tends to 0, the average acceleration become what? Instantaneous acceleration. And one more point here, the direction of acceleration is same as the direction of change in velocity. I hope you understood this topic. Thank you.